Q&A. This week, we're going to probably cover the gamut. So I really want us to hit some of the things that financially it would be great for you to do before the end of the year. And I have a feeling we're probably going to end up talking holiday deals and last minute things as well, because it's less than 2 weeks till Christmas. So there's a lot to cover though in the end of December, not just for Q&A, but like in life. Anybody else feel busy? For me, we have been kind of constantly flying. I think we have one night this week that we don't have something to do. So I have a feeling we're not the only family that is going in every single direction. And with that craziness, there are some things that can just get missed. So it's a good thing to recap end of the year things, making sure we all have them on our radar. So that's where my goal was, but I know that some of you also have things that you're looking for, deals that you're wanting to find. Today is technically Green Monday, so we can go over some of that too. In terms of Green Monday, I don't know, somebody came up with it probably 5 years or so back. It's not that old, but it is one of the largest last minute pushes that we see from stores. So it doesn't really compare to the Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, but it is kind of for most stores today, tomorrow, because they'll all get extended till tomorrow. This is how this game works. They're really the last time that we're going to see a sale and free shipping together. After tomorrow, you will see stores offering free shipping, free expedited shipping, or a sale, but not both. So just keep that in mind. The closer we get to Christmas, free shipping is off the table unless we're talking Amazon and Target. And guys, even there, anybody else noticing Amazon more and more things that you're looking for now say won't arrive in time for Christmas? I know we live in the boonies, but we're seeing that a lot. As not even things I'm trying to buy, just deals that I'm hunting for you guys. Well, won't arrive in time for Christmas isn't really that much of a deal. So gotta start to pay attention on some of that, making sure we're getting the sale and the free shipping. Choose in-store pickup, choose shop online, Target pickup, Best Buy pickup. You've got a lot of places that will do that. One example, guys, if you're interested, Best Buy, you can choose to ship to store and it will come before Christmas and you get free shipping when you choose that. So as we continue to see deals and we get closer to Christmas, if a deal pops in that you want, choose that option instead of A, it not coming in time, or B, missing the deal. We don't want to pay for shipping ever. It's kind of my cardinal rule. I will gladly throw a $9 item in my cart to avoid a $9 shipping fee. If I'm that close to a threshold. I don't know about any of you guys, but paying for shipping is just too painful. I just can't do it. So glad to answer any of y'all's questions. If you're looking for something, still happy to handle deals, but also wanting to handle just some finance stuff. We've kind of taken the month off from talking about finances, but there are some things that we need to hit on. So that's our goal as we go through tonight, to try to hit on all of that. So I'm going to go into finances and some of the things I want you to do, but glad to jump over to deals if that's where y'all need us to go, or where your questions are, that's fine too. So to start with, this is like your number one reason, if you have not done any charitable donations this year, you should. So normally none of us are really going to claim any charitable donations normally. Last year, in the first big kind of impact bill that was passed, this was during Trump's presidency, we were given a $300 donation on charitable donations, a $300 credit on charitable donations that everyone could claim on top of your now standard itemized deduction amount. That's $300 for singles, $600 for married folks. And that is included again this year. This is probably the last year. So it was just a 2-year gap trying to get people to still give to charity when money was tight and to give folks a little bit of a tax break as well. So it's $600 if you're married. If you don't normally tithe to church or you don't normally give money to charity, you've got until December 31st. This does not have to be cash donations. This can be goodwill. This can be cleaning out the closet and can be in-kind donations. So just keep that in mind. On a normal year, pre-COVID, that the big tax overhaul they did kind of took away a charitable donation for most of us, unless you give a ton to charity, way more than your standard itemized deduction, which isn't the case for most families. So this is big. You've got until December 31st to make that one. Now, if you've already been tithing to church, you've already, done all of you're well above your 600 probably. So not preaching to the choir on that sense, but for anyone that hasn't, you should get this in because it's an easy way to save on some taxes, clean out the closets, take some stuff to Goodwill, donate some things to other places even, and take that charitable donation off of your taxes. So $300 for singles, $600 for married. And again, this is probably the last year for it. So you just have to check and see if things get carried on, but this is technically the last year for it. Okay, some other things. If you have a flexible spending account, just a reminder that you need to spend all of that money by December 31st. Flexible spending account being money that is paying for like over-the-counter medications, prescriptions. You can use it to pay for co-pays to doctors. You can even use it to pay gym memberships, guys. So flexible spending accounts is anything that is health or medical related, and it's pretty wide and flexible where it didn't used to be. So you'll be pleasantly surprised as to what qualifies for that. But with an FSA, emphasizing that F, you do not get to keep it. So if you do not spend it, it is gone and you might as well spend it. It's your money. You've had it taken out of your paycheck all year long. You might as well spend it. Guys, there's an entire section. You could go to Amazon and just search in the search bar. FSA approved items. They have a whole page. So you are not going to have a hard time finding items for this, but you need to spend that money by December 31st. Now, the flip side of that, I'm emphasizing the F on that one. If you have an HSA plan, which is a health savings account, they go along with high deductible insurance plans. We have one. You do not have to spend that money by December 31st, and you really don't want to. The point of an FSA is, an HSA, I'm even mixing them up. The point of the HSA is that you get to keep it forever. It is still only good on medical expenses, but it can sit in that account. I do not have to use it up at the end of the year. So just so you don't go and blow money you don't need to spend, you do need to spend up your FSA. You do not need to spend your HSA. And most folks don't have both. Really not allowed to have both. You're only to have one or the other. So you probably know which one you have, but just so you're aware, you probably only have one of them. Okay. On that note, since we're talking health, you do have a little bit of time left in terms of open enrollment for Marketplace or just getting your own individual health insurance. So don't miss those deadlines either. You are welcome to make changes. So if you're paying for your own insurance and you're not on your employer's plan, you are always allowed to make any changes you want during open enrollment period. Even if you've had a plan, they will gladly keep that plan going for you, but you are also welcome to change it if you wanted to. So just consider shopping around, just seeing what's out there. Never hurts to see what's out there. If you are on an individual plan and you did not go through the Marketplace, take a second and just plug in your numbers and see if you're eligible for Marketplace plans as well. You might be pleasantly surprised to see that you are, and that reduces your out of pocket on those insurance premiums. So that window, though, is going to close at the end of December. So you really want to not miss that. If you're eligible, going ahead and making those changes now while you can. Keep in mind, if you choose a high deductible plan, which means that you don't pay copays, you pay everything until your deductible has been met. and then they pay everything. This is the plan we have. If you choose that option, then you are eligible for an HSA plan. So that's what we get to keep. We don't have to spend it at the end of the year, but it's a really, really big tax savings for you, that HSA plan. It acts as if you didn't even make the money. So let's say you're going to go into the marketplace and you're going to play around with insurances. If you're willing to do a high deductible plan and put money in a health savings account, you need to factor that in automatically to the amount of money you tell them that you're making. So you're really making less and qualifying for more because of that HSA plan. So don't just look at that money and think like, it's great in theory. No, seriously, putting money into an HSA is like the government for us. So a family can put up to $7,100. It's going up to $7,200 next year. You can put in $7,200 out of your paycheck into this savings account. It's your savings account. But now the government views that you make $7,200 less than you did. So if we're looking at what do I qualify for, there's the potential that you now qualify for more than you did just because you're willing to put some money into that HSA plan next year. So just a little inside tip as you go hunting that may help you out, may actually make you eligible for some extra incentives and discounts. Don't forget your retirement too, guys. So I don't know, that might be more than you wanted on the health side, but those premiums can get costly. So anything that helps to bring that down is big. So in terms of end of the year though, if you've had a high deductible plan all year and you've not opened a health savings account, you still can. If you have a high deductible plan this year that ends on December 31st, you are still eligible to open a health savings account. Assuming that you have money just sitting around, you could literally open that account and fully fund it by the end of the year if you wanted to. If that's not doable, because that totally wouldn't be doable for us, we just got, our tax bills for the house and tax bills for the car. I don't know why everything's due in December, but it is here. So no, I'm not going to just go out and find $7,200 to put into a health savings account, or $7,100 for this year. You could still put anything into that account. So I was recently talking with a friend, and that was her big question, was how do these health savings accounts work? Guys, you can literally open one and put $100 in. It does not matter what you put in. You get to keep it forever. It's your money just sitting in an account that can be used for medical purposes. But anything that you put in is a tax deduction off of this year. So if you've had a high deductible plan all year and you never opened a health savings account, you should. You should open one. Your bank has them. There are online accounts. We use an online account through healthequity.com. So health equity, you're building up equity in your house, healthequity.com. And those particular ones, when you have a certain amount in them, I think their threshold is $2,000. Remember, you can put up to $7,000 a year in it, but when you have $2,000 in it, you're able to invest everything above $2,000 in the stock market. So you actually can earn more than a local bank is ever going to let you earn. So that's why we're there. But your local bank has health savings accounts as well. So you put $100 in it, $200, whatever you could afford before the end of the year is still coming off the top on your taxes. So you should do that. Definitely. You chose the high deductible plan. You should get one of the biggest perks that comes with them, which is that tax savings account. Okay. On that note, I know you're just rolling in money here, but one other reminder that is a reminder for the end of the year is to go ahead and get money into retirement accounts. If you are at work, you can ask your HR department to put more into your 401k in these last pay periods if you happen to have it. Or you could open an IRA. Now with an IRA, which means I don't have a 401k at work, I can't do both. But with an IRA account, if you choose to open one, you can actually open that guy all the way until next April. So no pressure on the IRA, you can actually open it and fund it in March and tell them that you're funding it for last year. That's fine. But I still want to encourage you to think about it. I want you to think about next year and what kind of money could you put aside each month into retirement or into savings. Going into the new year with that kind of goal, it's much more likely that you're actually going to do it than to go into the new year and, you know what, I'll think about it later. I just want to get through where we are right now. No, we need to at least ponder it now. You know, what would your goal be if you were going to start to put money aside? How much do you think you could handle? And getting that started now, or at least planning to get it started after Christmas is fine too. But thinking about it now is still pretty huge for getting it started and not waiting any longer. So even if we're talking a savings account here, guys, still having a plan as to what you want to do. I highly recommend having whatever it is that you plan taken out of your paycheck off the top. Never comes home. You never see it. So we do my husband has a 401k through his work. I have an IRA. Have those automatically deducted. Even a small business can automatically deduct and put in your IRA for you. Go ahead and set it up or think about setting it up. But you can also set up direct deposits to a savings account. Just having them set every month at the same time that it automatically is moving money and you're not having to think about it. It's just coming off is going to be huge for you saving money. So that's my soapbox. I feel like your mom in this moment, but hopefully someone, you're going to grow up and you're going to say, I'm so glad I did that, right? That's where we all are. I'm not grown up yet. I don't know about you guys. Who knows when grown up is, but you're still going to be glad you saved that money no matter what age you are right now. Okay, I know I've got a few questions, so let me jump over to questions really quick. Josie, you need to redo your front yard garden. Would I know where I can find plants on sale? So Josie, this isn't really, prime planting season, obviously, but a little inside tip. This is really from a dear friend of mine, and that is to head to Lowe's and Home Depot. Home Depot especially. The plants that are at Home Depot are really in there from vendors. So I don't know if anybody else has ever done this, but it's kind of learning when they mark down plants or when the vendors come through and mark down those plants. They're not really all Home Depot's plants. So finding those guys, asking the folks that work in Home Depot even, when do the plant guys come through and mark things down? Looking for those clearance carts. A lot of times those clearance plants in Lowe's and Home Depot are perfectly fine. They're just not gorgeous right now. They just need some love. My kiddos, we're already pretty frugal folks, but I have one 16-year-old who in the last month may have wounded me by telling me she no longer wanted clothes from Goodwill. I'm still working through that one, but this one child, the minute that she walks into Lowe's and Home Depot, she immediately goes to the clearance cart for plants because she has a magical green thumb and she knows that those clearance plants still have a ton of life in them. So that's a big one, is watching those carts. You're really at the mercy of what gets marked down, but most of them don't need a ton of love. They will come back and they will look great. So that's what I would encourage you to do, Josie. In terms of other sales, we're really not going to see a lot because they're not even really bringing in new plants right now. Definitely not in our neck of the woods. It hit 28 degrees outside last night. So not a lot of plants that would want to go in the ground. They'd want to be inside plants right now. But you will find some that are on clearance and marked down, and that's what I would go for. Even your local flower shops and actual nurseries are going to have those clearance and marked down things too that you could ask them about. And Wendy is chiming in on my free shipping thing. She's actually chatted with them, I'm guessing, and asked for free shipping as a one-time courtesy. Never hurts to ask. That would be my rule of thumb in a grocery store, but I applaud you, Wendy, for asking even in the chat side too. For me, I immediately stop what I'm doing and hunt for like a free shipping code or some kind of other discount that's gonna negate the shipping cost. Maybe I can find a 30% off or a 40% off coupon that helps to cover whatever we're having to do, or find it on a different site. I'm not paying your shipping. I will go hunting for this somewhere else, because nowadays, whatever you're looking for, the odds of it being exclusive to that website is pretty slim. So that shipping cost is enough to make me immediately change where I am shopping. Okay, and Stacy, to go back, and I'm sorry I didn't see your question as I was talking about it. So yes, the deduction, the $600 deduction for charitable giving, it was added into a COVID relief bill last year, and it is specifically for people who do not itemize. So everyone that does itemize their taxes, they don't need this little $600. They're getting to basically claim everything over their standard deduction. So this $300 for an individual and $600 for married couples is for people who specifically who do not itemize. We take the standard deduction. You get this charitable donation. It was technically a one-time charitable donation, but they held it over this year. So it was added in last year. Everyone got it last year. Hopefully you claimed it last year. The hard part is that so many of us are used to not being able to. It only took us a couple years to get into that habit. So you need to get out of that habit for last year and this year and claiming that again. So $600 for married, $300 for individuals. And what is Marketplace? You need health insurance. So Marketplace being healthcare.gov. This is Obamacare. This is going through and that's what they call it, is through the Marketplace to see what is available to you. So Karen, if your insurance is going to drop on February 1st, you need to actually stay with the insurance that you have. You are not eligible for Marketplace insurance if you have a plan through an employer. So if I have a plan that is through an employer, it is going to end. Then as soon as it ends, or as soon as then you're eligible to go and find a new plan. So you can kind of put that into the Marketplace. They'll let you say when it's going to end, so you can shop early. You don't have to literally have no health insurance on February 2nd. You can have a plan lined up and ready to start, and you are eligible to do that outside of the normal windows. The normal window is November 15th or sometime mid-November through December is the open enrollment window. And then anyone outside of that window that loses a job, has a job change, loses insurance, is eligible because of that life situation change to shop on their own random time. So, let's just say come January, someone in your house loses a job and you had insurance, you missed the window, you're good. They lost their job. You lost your insurance. When you lost your job, then you're eligible to kind of have your own enrollment window. So that's really where you're going to be come February 1st, Karen. Okay. And Shelly, if you choose a Roth IRA, which is great, you are not going to it's not going to help you on your taxes this year. A traditional IRA would help you on this year's taxes. A Roth IRA comes in, you're contributing basically with after tax money, and it is going to help you in the future. And you've already paid taxes on it, and I'm not going to pay taxes on any of it when I take the money out. So anyone that is in, or I guess you are in a lower tax bracket now, go ahead and pay the taxes on it. And you are hoping that when you're in retirement, you're in a higher tax bracket. You're really kind of playing the system and you're doing really well with a Roth IRA, which is great. If you're needing the tax deduction now, then that Roth choice isn't going to work for anyone that's wanting an actual tax deduction right now, which is, either way, it's whatever your family needs. So Desha asks, are there any iPhone deals? A guy at Costco said Verizon customers that have been with Verizon for a long time have gotten a letter for a special price. So I have not seen this letter. And we've been with Verizon for a very long time, so it might have just been in a regional area for you guys. But I will say, if you call Verizon, kind of like Wendy's, asking for that special moment, but calling them and saying like, hey, I've been here forever and I'd like a new phone. What kind of deals can you give me? Be a little stern with it. You'll be surprised what they'll come back with, what they'll be willing to do. So what we have seen from Verizon in particular is they are offering really high trade-in values on old phones. So if your phone is working, like boots up, the screen can be cracked, they're not really caring there. They've been offering up to like $800 on some old phones as long as it boots up. Some of them, they've still been offering money, even if it doesn't even do that. And that's a pretty good chunk of money to turn around and get a new phone. I will warn you, most of our really great deals for existing customers, we don't tend to see those later and later into December because they've got a pretty steady stream of folks that are just coming in and paying top dollar for phones right now. People want to give them as gifts, or they want to open a new line for a teenager or whatever it might be. So they're not really feeling the pinch on no one's grabbing phones. If anything, I suspect you'll see some better deals coming out a couple weeks into January. So if you're willing to hold out on a new phone, in terms of being an existing customer, you're probably going to see existing customer deals get a little bit better after the holidays instead of right here at the holidays. That would just be like, my personal way of looking at what their marketing has been lately. Okay. So in terms of a health savings account, could you put $100 in and then turn around and spend it on medical stuff that you were already going to spend the $100 on? You could. So if you didn't want to, I guess let me step back. So I kept saying that a health savings account is long-term. I don't have to spend it right now. It's like my account to keep forever. You do not have to broach it that way. You could definitely put money in just to pull money right back out, and it was still a tax savings for you. So we did this a couple of years ago. Thankfully, the Lord blessed us this year, and we didn't have anything huge. But a couple of years ago, I guess it was actually last year, or beginning of last year, one of our kiddos, our third kiddo, went into braces. And so knowing that I needed to pay for those braces and that our orthodontist gives us a sizable discount to pay up front, we had been prepped for this. Now, we've already had 2 kiddos in braces, so this isn't our first rodeo here. So we had been prepped. We did put money into our HSA, like $2,500 into the HSA, and then literally 2 weeks later took it out for her braces, because that immediately saved us income tax on that $2,500. Now, we're still left with only being allowed to put in a certain amount for the whole year. So yeah, we spent a chunk of what we were allowed to put in and we didn't save it, but we saved a chunk on income taxes by lowering our adjusted gross income by $2,500 and then not having to pay tax on all of that money. So, if you had an extra $2,500 on top of that lying around, I guess you could put the money in and not take it back out, but we didn't have that extra lying around. So we put the money in and then we paid the orthodontist with that money right away. And that it's still a huge savings for you to look at it that way. So it does not have to, a health savings account does not have to be long-term health savings account. If you know that you're going to end up having a large purchase, this is still a great way to A, save for it, and B, make it tax-free. So it could definitely go that route. And Yolanda's chiming in and saying in our area, she's lucked out at Woodley's Garden Center with 50 and 75% clearance. So Woodley's is one of our local nurseries in the Columbia, South Carolina area. So if you're not in my area though, local nurseries, Home Depots, Lowe's, those are still great places to look for clearance markdown plants. So try, I like your name. We want to know best discount on gift cards for Christmas. So there's quite a few. My favorite deal right now is actually to head to Office Depot, guys. So this is an in-store only deal. You have to head to Office Depot. I'm going to pull up the website just so I can show it to you. I posted this one this morning, but Office Depot is offering 25% in rewards back, which is basically just like Office Depot credit, right? 25% back in rewards when you buy a $100 worth of Happy gift cards. So that is what this deal is right here, and all the fine print for it, but it's not that overwhelming. It is in-store only. So I'm letting you see the fine print. This is, if you go to Office Depot's website, all I did was click on deals up at the top and click on rewards in case you want to read the fine print. But these are those multiple place gift cards. This is good on Happy. It's good on Giving Good and on Choice gift cards. And so this can be, some of them are good at Home Depot and Lowe's and Cracker Barrel and Chili's. And here's the fun part in terms of gift card deals. All that they require is a $100 purchase, but that can be across multiple gift cards. So you could head in and grab 4 $25 gift cards, $250. You get the idea. You buy $100 worth of gift cards, you're going to get $25 back in Office Depot credit. Now, I know that that's not, off the top a savings, but that's $25 back in your pocket and a 25% savings on those gift cards, which is pretty huge. And the fact that the gift cards are good at a lot of places. So you're not just having to pick where one person's going to use it. They get to pick, which is pretty sweet. So we did this deal last year, and we did it for us. I don't even remember what we turned around and did, but we needed something at Lowe's, and so we grabbed a gift card that included Lowe's, and we turned around and we went to Lowe's and we used it. So you don't even have to give these away, but it's still a pretty sweet savings. Other gift card deals, we've got gift card deals that are running in drugstores this week. Target is running a $5 Target gift card on select gift cards that you grab. So I will tell you, I joked with my husband that I should wrap these, but today I grabbed some gift cards at Target and at Best Buy because they have gift cards on Google Play cards. Now, we would never use that on a regular basis, but you can pay for YouTube TV with a Google Play gift card. And every fall, we get YouTube TV for August, September, October, November, and December, also known as football season. And so that is how we can watch our football games that we love. But you can find discounts on Google Play gift cards. Pay for that in your YouTube TV account. So you just load them into your YouTube TV account. And now you've got a discount on YouTube TV. So there's a deal today at Best Buy that when you buy a $100 Google Play gift card, you get a $10 Best Buy gift card. There's also a deal at Target that when you buy a $50 Google Play gift card, you can get a $5 Target gift card. Now, these are just 10% savings, but that's still 10% savings on YouTube TV for us. So we have them printed. I told my husband I should wrap them and put them under the tree and tell him that I'm giving him college football in the fall. But we're just holding tight to those. So not going to need them in January, but we will definitely use them later in the year. So there are deals out there. They're not all 25% like the Office Depot deal, but there are some fun deals with gift cards back. The other place to look, as I mentioned last week, is directly from the brands. We've got a lot of bonus gift card deals running. So you go to the Children's Place, you go to Chili's, and you grab a gift card, and they're going to give you a bonus gift card back. It's really just a coupon. It's not a full gift card, so do watch those. The bonuses all have expiration dates on them, but you're still getting something back for your purchase. So that is directly through the brand. Lynn specifically asking for Bath and Body Works gift card deals. They are not a brand that usually runs gift card deals. So I would go hunting. And if that's the case, if you're looking for something like that, I would go hunting on other sites like raise.com. Paige mentioned this one last week. And Raise is great. Like, you're getting a raise. So raise.com sells or allows people to sell their gift cards. They're all guaranteed. You're not going to run into the value not being there or having issues, but you will find gift cards for literally all over the country of just people that got a gift card, or maybe they made some returns and the return went on to a gift card. Well, they can sell the gift card. So you'll end up getting, some of them may just be 3 or 4% savings for you, but some may be much higher. So you can just see what you can find. I would probably point you to raise.com, Lynn, for specifically Bath and Body Works gift cards. I don't think you're going to find much other than, just paying full price for it on their website. So when do the annual white sales start on towels and sheets? That is definitely in January. So in January, they decide that we are all cleaning our house and we all need new linens. We see a lot of that stay for most of the spring and then sometimes around Mother's Day, because that's what mom wants for Mother's Day. Now, that said, we've had some great deals on towels and sheets, guys. So if you want them now, heading to Kohl's, everybody has a mystery coupon today in their Kohl's account through tonight. And for a lot of folks, it's a 40% off offer. So plugging that in with some Kohl's sales, you can actually do pretty well. So just to, throw that out there, not having to wait until January, just shopping some of these last minute Christmas deals is a pretty sweet price. Oh, UCF mom, when is a good time to buy a car? Like in 2 years. I don't think that's the answer that you want. It is definitely not right now. So normally, best time to buy a new car is September, October, when the next year's models are already hitting the lots and they are wanting to still get rid of this year's models. That is not the case right now. So no one has cars and no one needs to push them. So I don't know if you've noticed, but there aren't even really a ton of car ads. Think about what you normally see if you're watching TV. They don't have anything to sell you, and they don't have any need to advertise because they are selling what they do have. So it isn't right now. You really want to hold tight to what you have if you can, as long as you can. Even used cars are insanely priced, and really not go there. Okay. Oh, and Karen, I see your response on the insurance. So you can still do that. You can still go into the marketplace and say, I'm losing my insurance on February 1st. It's not work related, but this is when it's canceling, and get a plan starting February 1st. You could also, just to be on the safe side, Karen, anyone can do this. Look up a insurance broker in your area. This is how we actually got we had a marketplace plan for a couple of years, and we got it through our own broker. They don't charge you. It's free. They actually make money from the insurance carriers, not from you, but they can make sure that you're covered, that you're not going to get stuck in some weird warp zone of no insurance because you didn't realize there was a deadline or they didn't understand. So that's really what I would point you to, just for peace of mind, and you're going to get a great plan. They really are going to look out for you. So looking up local insurance brokers, meet with them in person even. And if you need someone, you can send me a Facebook message, but I will gladly share the company that we've worked with, and I'm pretty sure they could work with you even if you aren't in South Carolina. If you are just wanting someone to hold your hand and walk you through it, make sure you're not missing something, that's what they do. And there's no cost whatsoever. So huge, huge help. Okay, I think I've hit a lot of questions here, trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Karen, great point. She's been charging on her Visa, paying her bills, racking up points, and then is using her credit card points to get gift cards. So you could do that as well. That's very true. You could also cash out your Ibotta and your Fetch and any other earnings that you have for gift cards too. Keep in mind those gift cards, when you cash out through your mobile apps, are all going to be e-gift cards, but you can always print those out and put them under the tree as well. So, it might be that you're not necessarily finding a deal, but you're just cashing in some earnings that you've saved up to help pay for some presents. It's always helpful too. Okay. I think I've almost caught up with everybody. Oh, and Debbie, thank you. So, and Jill, Kroger has a deal for Bath & Body Works gift cards right now. Save $10 on Bath & Body Works gift cards when you buy 2 of them, totaling $75 or more. So if you're really wanting Bath & Body Works, Lynn, heading to Kroger might do it for you. It's going to be a $10 savings on a $75 purchase, which is a little bit more than 10%. It's actually pretty good. $10 savings on a $100 purchase would be 10%. So that's a pretty actual, Jill's saying not a wonderful deal. It's actually a pretty great deal for Bath & Body Works. We don't see that one very often. And Stacy, that's awesome. Stacy said she cashed out all her savings and apps for the entire year and completely paid for Christmas. That is one of the ways that I love to do it, Stacy. It's like your own Christmas slush fund all year long. And then boom, Christmas is covered. So way to go. I'm proud of you. Oh, and Lynn, do I know how the housing market is now and how mortgage rates are doing? So I do. The housing market is a little quieter than it was a few months ago. Things are still selling, but they're not selling as quickly as they were. And mortgage rates are starting to tick back up. They're still very low, like very low compared to where they have been, but they are starting to tick back up. So last February, mortgage rates were at like 2.5% for a 30-year fixed. They're now at a 3.5%. So they're up a point. But 3.5% is still a great mortgage rate. So compared to, the rates of yesteryear. So I wouldn't be too concerned. Futuristically, that rate will continue to rise. We do have, I don't know if you're like looking at needing to lock in right now, if you're wanting super current news or not. But we do, Lynn, have the Fed is going to make an announcement this week on their next stage for tapering and their plans for the market. If you look at how the stock market did today, it wasn't pretty, and it was all because they're all waiting, like baiting their fingernails to see what the Fed does in their announcement. So that will affect mortgage rates as well. It always does. So if you were on the fence trying to decide whether to lock, I would lock. It's only going to go up by the end of the week. But it won't be like, it's not going to jump to 6%. It'll probably jump to like 3.6 and maybe 3.7 by the end of the year. But it's not going to be drastic. So probably more than you wanted to know there, but that is what the mortgage market's doing. Okay, I have a few more things I want us to hit. I did make notes for y'all today just so I wouldn't miss something. And we've hit a lot. I mentioned that I want you to think about savings. This is a great time to sit down and make just goals for next year. What do I want to save for? How much can I save? But I also want you to sit down and do some just planning and looking at some numbers. So I always mention, whenever we talk taxes, this IRS tax withholding calculator. And it's super, super easy. I do think it's funny. It says down here, it was last updated November 24th. Now, they still haven't fully updated this to take into account the child tax credit changes for this year. So do keep that in mind. But this is literally going to hold your hand on figuring out what your tax is. It's like doing a TurboTax anytime you want. It is going to hold your hand and tell you how much you're going to owe, you're going to tell it how much you've already withheld. So I actually sat down, what is today? Today's Monday. It was probably last Wednesday or Thursday. Sat down and redid it for our family to see where we were, making sure we were good. My husband and I both still have 2 paychecks left in the year. And so if that's the case, do we need to make some changes to those paychecks? What are we looking like? And this will do it. So all you need to play with this, first off, it's free. This is on the IRS's website. But all you need to do is get your most recent pay stub. And you will have everything you need to fill in and play with this withholding calculator. And when you're done, step 6 over here is going to tell you, hey, you're great, or no, you're not great, and you're going to owe $1,000. This is literally your quick look at what it's going to look like for you when you want to sit down and do your taxes. But so much better to have that look right now than to have that look in a month when you're getting all the bills from Christmas to know what you're going into. I could make some adjustments. We could withhold a little bit more in these last 2 paychecks so that we get paid a little bit less if that was the case in the spring. I encourage you to play with this. But I encourage you now, as we're thinking about our goals, to play with it for the future. So you can do that. And I'm just clicking some things that I know automatically, but you can sit here and you could plug in all your numbers, but then pretend numbers for other things. So let me see if I can make this big enough so that we can all see it. Let's just go for easy numbers here that one of you works and the other one doesn't, because it just makes for less things to fill in. You're salaried, you're going to hold the job all year, and you get paid, just for the sake of easy numbers, you get paid once a month. Really doesn't matter on that one. Your most recent pay period, we're going to say it was November 30th. Doesn't matter. But this is how we can play for next year, guys, because that's what we're talking about here. Getting ready for next year. But you can put in, let's say this is your money before anything's taken out. Let's just say that you make, this is once a month, you get paid, we're going to give you a good salary. Once a month, you get paid $4,000 a month. So year to date, you haven't had your December payment yet, right? Your last pay period that I just put on there was November 30th. We're making up numbers here, obviously, but year to date so far, you've gotten paid 11 times. So you've made $44,000, and it's asking, based on this amount, will you make $48,000? Yes, you will. Actually, I want to play with this a little bit differently. Let's say you have a great job. And you bring home $6,000 a month. Ooh, $60,000, that'd be great. So already you've made $66,000, and year to date, yes, you're going to make $72,000. And let's just, for ease of numbers, say you haven't paid any federal taxes and you've had nothing withheld. So this is the box that you get to start to play with right here. My spouse or I contribute to a 401k. My spouse or I contribute to an HSA or an FSA. So you can click these boxes and you could plug in pretend numbers. Let's say you decide to put 5% into a 401k. That's not a scary amount. You can handle that. Or that you're going to put in $100 a month into an HSA, which is a really tiny amount too. You can start to see at the end when I plug those numbers in. And once you get it all filled in, it's really easy to come back and play, because I can just jump straight to results, and then I can jump back to income and withholding, and I can just sit there and play with those numbers. So why I want you to do that is you guys are going to realize, wait a second, if I put in money into a 401k that maybe I'm not now, or into an HSA that maybe I'm not now, keep in mind you can only do that if you have a high deductible health plan, that it does impact how much needs to be withheld from your paycheck. Now, this isn't literally going to be a dollar for dollar. Like I put money into a 401k so I get $1 back up from what I have withheld. It doesn't work out that beautifully, but it does end up working out to where you have less and less withheld, but your paycheck's not being as drastically impacted because I'm not paying as much in taxes while I am saving some money over here. And it's still your money. It's in savings. So I encourage you to play with this. Again, this is the IRS withholding calculator. You can plug in everything, guys, even down to your deductions, your kids, all of it, and just get an idea of what things are going to look like. For some of you, this always gets confusing for folks, but I do want you to remember when you plug in your kids, if you took monthly child tax credit payments, if you got those all for the last 6 months, I encourage you on that withholding estimator that you actually plug in half the number of children that you really have, because it does not factor in those payments. And it's going to tell you a number that is not going to be right, because you've really already taken a credit that it's going to be applying. So if you've taken those payments, when you get to the child screen, and let's say you have 3 kids, you really just need to plug in 1. There is no 1.5. It's better to go worse than to go better. It's better for it to tell you you're going to owe some money and then you be pleasantly surprised. But if you've taken those child tax credits, it does affect what you will owe for your taxes next year. It is not going to be as much of a credit as you maybe once were getting on your taxes. So just so you are considering that when you play with those numbers in the end. Okay, Christine, yes, if you're going to make an HSA contribution, it does have to be by December 31st to count in this year. It's retirement contributions that we can count up until next April, but our HSA contributions need to be in this calendar year for them to count. Okay, so I encourage you to play with that withholding estimator. Right now, child tax credits for next year, nothing is finalized, guys. Nothing. So no guarantee that credit payments will keep coming if you've been relying on those. They're hoping. It is all kind of in the plan that's not passed, and their goal is to pass it by the end of the year. But it's just best for you to kind of use that withholding estimator as if just life's going to go back to kind of status quo and normal. I will tell you, since we're talking taxes, there is one thing in the Build Back Better plan that you may not be quite ready for. So I'm actually okay with this, but you do need to be aware that there will be an automatic enrollment for businesses of any size, 5 employees or more, automatic enrollment for you into an IRA or 401k plan. So if you are not currently contributing to your to your retirement plans, there will be a start to that. Now, you are allowed to say that you don't want to do that, but you have to make the effort to not have that done for you. So just know that that is in the plan. Now, they're still making changes, and that's one of the things that they have made a lot of changes to. So I don't really know what that's going to look like, but that is one of the various things that is included in this plan. So if you are not currently contributing to any retirement plan, there's a good chance that you may either be needing to say no, or you will start with one next year. So maybe that'll be a good thing. It's going to force a lot of people to at least think about it, which will be a good thing. Okay. And Nadine asks, my house is almost paid off. Is there something I should be doing? So in terms of if you've already paid off your house, I don't know what kind of savings you're doing, Nadine, but I think that's great. For us, we kind of made a different decision. And some of this was having just a really wise financial planner to help us out. But stock markets have been doing really, really well. And our house mortgage is we got refinanced last year at like a 2.6 something rate. And so his words were, you know what, the stock market's doing great. And so any extra money that you can save needs to go into those accounts. And you just make your mortgage payments where you make your mortgage payments. Maybe make a little extra, but you really put your extra money over here so that it can be earning way more than you're paying in interest on the mortgage. And so that's what we've been doing in the last year, while the stock market has been earning above 10%. So if you're to where your house is almost paid off, which is awesome, I wish we could have, it's hard, like finding that fine line between both. Once your house is paid off, if that's your goal, then immediately taking whatever you've been putting towards the house, the same amount, and automatically setting up an auto draft into a retirement account or into savings accounts, into a savings investment account. You can do that. You can open up an account with Schwab and just have money go into it on a certain day every month. This much money goes into it and you can play with it, or you can have them automatically invest it for you. You don't have to know anything. You can even meet with a financial planner and have them set it all up for you. But that's what I would encourage you to do once your house is paid off, that you just keep taking that same amount of money you've been plugging aside and start to put it into savings, because that's pretty huge. And I'm proud of you. That's really, really awesome. Okay. Oh, and Sheila says, I've been retired for 8 years. I just live off Social Security income. Oh, that's great. I'm glad that this is helpful for you, Sheila, and that we can, give you some things to think about. Encouragement to save more. That's always the goal. I'm trying to think about everything we've hit tonight. In terms of taxes and health-wise, we've hit a lot. Don't forget your deductions here at the end of the year. I encourage you to look at your savings goals. I also encourage you to look at your pantry and food-wise. So as you're going to set goals for next year, setting goals to maybe meal plan a little bit more or eat out of the pantry a little bit more. I have the plan in the next couple of weeks to try to eat out of a freezer that my kids told me is literally not able to shut. Okay, that it's reached its max, and we need to start to eat on it and not keep shoving things in there, obviously. So we've done that a little too hard. We did run out of milk and bread tonight because I haven't been going to the store, but we've been doing awesome in eating out of what we have on hand. And so kind of encouraging you guys to have that in the back of your mind too, as you're finishing off the year, that you also think about maybe some food items that don't need to go into the new year with you. And that's kind of what it was for me. I cleaned out the pantry tonight. We should have done a pantry tour, right? But cleaning that out and things, realizing, wow, we just didn't eat this. This is a great time of year to go through those things. So if you've got some downtime around the holidays or after the holidays, if you're using up some leave time, use that time up to go through your pantry or your freezers, cleaning some things out, eating some things, not going into the new year with things that shouldn't have gone into this year. I'm not one for sticking to an expiration date, but I am one once we get a few years past it, or even 1 year past it. So this is a great time of year to do those items too. Not as big as taxes and health items, but still going into the new year slightly more organized maybe is the way to look at it. Oh, and yes, Lynn, great tip. So Lynn's got a tip for you. Nadine, she says, please make sure when you pay off your house that you keep your homeowner's insurance up. It's usually been part of your mortgage payment if you have those items escrowed. So just making sure that you don't let that lapse. You'll be very discouraged if you do. So thank you for reminding us all on that one, Lynn. If you don't have it escrowed, then you're used to paying that one as well. We don't have any of ours escrowed, but it is a great just thought to think of for folks who do have all of that rolled in. And for that matter, your property taxes, because you haven't been looking at those bills. They've been automatic to your mortgage company too. So to wrap that up, to not wrap up, that reminds me, I had one more thing. So in our area, and maybe it's just because it's when we grabbed cars years ago, but our cars all have their property taxes due this month. So this is a December thing for us, and it may not be December for you, but just a note, if you're there, whenever your cars are due for property taxes, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably don't pay, I can't imagine not paying these taxes on cars in another state, but if you do, I kind of want to move there. But a big one, and it's on our list, is if your cars have hit the high mileage deduction, to make sure you take the time to do that. So one of our cars it's on my to-do list to get that into the county, because that does have a pretty sizable impact on the taxes that you're going to have to pay on that car. So Each county is different as to what that threshold is. In our area is if you are the lucky owner of a car with over 115,000 miles, and we are. This year, we rolled over 120. So making sure you're taking that step and doing what you can on those bills. Same for property taxes. You know, that if you find something and you feel like it needs to be dealt with on a property tax bill that is too high. I know this is a question that's come in the past. Sometimes asking for a reassessment is not the way to go, but you do want to check it and make sure that everything looks right before you're paying those bills. In our area, everyone's house property taxes are due in December. I would assume it's the same for you guys too. So making sure that you're making those payments as well. If that payment is scary for you, then I would recommend as soon as January rolls around that you start to put money every single month into an account. And then at the end of the year, that money is ready for you. So we do this. My husband's like, when are you going to take the money out? And I'm trying hard to leave the money right where I put it and get us to pay it with, like we can scrimp and we can save with the money that we have. But we really have been putting money aside every month to pay property taxes, insurances on cars, on the house. They're not all due in December. But having that money put aside every single month, it's like you're basically doing your own little tax withholding is going to be huge for you. So if it's super scary to pay them right now in December, set yourself up for a win next December by going ahead and monthly saving in a separate account for those items. So in our separate account, I have them all in one, but it is car taxes, car insurances, house insurances, all rolled into one. I don't think there's anything else in there, but I just went and I added up what those totals were and divided by 12 so that I knew I was set to make those payments now in December. And the money is there, and I probably will take some out, but I'm really trying hard to keep it in my little savings account. And hopefully, you'll have a little extra to where maybe you won't need it all that you've saved. But for us, it's pretty great to know that it's there and that it's not this, what are we going to do? Everything's due in December. We knew it was due in December. It's always been due in December, and you would too. So it's great to think ahead and get yourself ready for all of those tax bills that are going to come every year like clockwork. So I knew I had one more thing for you, and that's a big one for you guys. And Jill, Cheryl, okay, maybe, and I should have remembered that, Karen. Florida pays no personal property taxes, and Cheryl says that Texas doesn't either. I think we need to consider moving. They're not too horrible in South Carolina, but they're definitely there on houses and cars. So Jill, I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you said. I have a retirement job and I get dental and vision insurance through it. I had the option of having an HSA in June when enrollment happened, but I opted not to do it this year. I had major surgery in November and will be receiving a pretty good sized bill from the University of, we're going to say Miami there. Did you say that there was a way to sign up? So yes, so HSA, it is a benefit through your work, but it is not required that it be through your work. And I think this confuses a lot of folks, but you can actually go and open your own HSA plan anywhere you want. I do not have to open one through my employer. It is a benefit that your employer offers. And I will say, when you do choose to open one through your employer, usually they pay, if there's like a monthly maintenance fee, they usually pay that. Now, not all of them have it. Some of them have it if you're below a certain balance, but your employer would be paying that monthly fee, which is like $2 on some accounts. So that's great, but you do not have to go through your employer. So you chose not to in June, but you could still walk into the bank or go to healthequity.com and open up your own HSA plan. And you put money in there on your own. So it's not coming out pre-tax from your payroll, which would have been great, but you're still going to get the money back on your taxes at the end of the year, if that makes sense. So the perk of going through your employer is that it is a line item on your pay stub, and I never even had to pay withholding on that, but it's okay. because it's still a line item on your taxes, and it will still work out in the end for the same tax deduction that it would have been had you done it through your employer. So it doesn't matter that you didn't do it in June. You can still open it now. You could still fund it and then turn around and pay the University of Miami with that money, which in all honesty is the way to go, because you can't claim medical expenses unless you're spending a ton way over your adjusted gross incomes. You can only claim, what is it, like whatever is 10% you have to of your AGI. You can't claim the first 10%, and then it's anything above it. So it's a pretty sizable chunk of medical bills before you actually get to claim medical deductions. So getting to put some money into an HSA and then take it right back out is pretty awesome for you. And I would encourage you to do that. Okay, and what's in our account again, Cheryl, is car taxes, house property taxes, car insurance, and house insurance. So I've added all of that up and divide by 12, and we just have it automatically deducted every month to go into a savings account. And it's actually a savings account with Schwab, guys. So I was telling you, you can go and open an investment account. That money's in an investment account, because I knew, and I find it kind of fun to be able to play a little bit. I do have them in mutual funds, so they're a little safer, but I knew that I could earn more than my local bank could. So that money is in investments. If we pull money out, I'll pull money out from ones that haven't done as well, so we won't owe capital gains taxes on it. But that's where I stuck it. So you can do that. You can feel like you're doing great, getting some extra money put aside for all of those expenses. And DC asks, you have an FSA through work. Can I open an HSA even if I have an FSA? I plan to retire in 3 years. So DC, from what I have heard through a couple different friends that are accountants, through work as well, through work HR departments, no, you are not allowed both an HSA and an FSA. So I would encourage you. I am not a tax professional. My husband probably would have wanted me to have started this video with that, because we've talked a lot of taxes. But I would encourage you to ask your HR department what they give as just a general rule of thumb for both of those plans. I will tell you, my husband's HR department does not allow an FSA and an HSA together. And 2 accountants that I have asked have said, no, you cannot have them both. So I would go with that. But if you wanted to ask, your own professional, you could do that too. Long term, an HSA, so next year, if you're looking at making some changes, an HSA is the same thing. I can use an HSA for over-the-counter meds if I want to, but it's much more valuable to you if you're eligible to not do that and to keep that money there basically for long-term care. It is your own long-term care insurance, because I could use that 10 years down the road. Even if I don't even have the high deductible plan and you're on Medicare, it's still your money to use for any medical purchases forever. Much more valuable than an FSA plan. Okay. Oh, and can you open an HSA when you retire? So you can only put in money into an HSA plan that you earn. It's kind of like an IRA in that sense. And I don't know, actually, if you're retiring early, then and you're not on Medicare, you're okay. But Medicare does not qualify as an HSA approved insurance plan. So you wouldn't be able to contribute once you're on Medicare. You've got to have that high deductible insurance plan to be able to contribute into an HSA, and you do have to have earnings to be able to contribute to an HSA as well. So if your earnings are not coming from a 401k or an IRA, but your earnings were coming from some other form of income, then you'd be okay. You would be allowed to still contribute to an HSA. But if your earnings are only coming from a retirement account, I don't think that they would be qualified earnings to be able to be put into an HSA. We are taking this a step further. than even I have like dug into. And I do love some taxes, guys. I'm a little weird on that. So I would encourage you to get a professional's opinion on that. But I mean, it really does depend on what your earnings are once you are retired and what kind of insurance you have as well. Okay. I'm glad, Lynn. I'm glad that it helps. I have actually pondered later in life, like I would enjoy going and getting a degree in financial planning. But for right now, I will just be here for you guys and for my 6-year-old and homeschooling her. I don't really have time to go back to school, but I would love to do like actual real financial planning. It would be a lot of fun. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. It's always fun to me to talk finances and taxes. So I hope that this was an encouragement to y'all on just getting some things thought about before the end of the year, planning for next year. In terms of other videos, I will be back on tomorrow for drugstores at 2. We will not have a Q&A next week. So I actually won't have a Q&A again until January 3rd. So we're going to take the next 2 weeks off. We always take the last 2 weeks of the year off. But next week, my kiddos want to go caroling. So I'm holding out hope it's not going to rain. And we are going to go Christmas caroling and not have a Q&A next Monday night. I hope that you guys, if I don't see you on the drugstore videos, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and that you're able to get lots of wonderful goals and plans made for January. And we're going to dive right into them on January 3rd. So we are going to start off the year talking goals and talking plans and ways to just really knock out the savings from the get-go that first Monday in January. So right after New Year's Day, that first Monday, I'll be back. So 8:30, I think it's January 3rd. We will have our next Q&A, but I will be on for drugstore videos this week and probably next week. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow at 2, or if you can't catch it live, you can always catch it after the fact. So thanks for joining me. Thanks again for a great 2021 if I don't talk to you, and we'll talk to you again next year. Y'all have a great night.